Hi, dear friend. You've found a quiet place to rest and dream. Tonight, we'll journey into the silent reaches of space, where thoughts echo like starlight across the void. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders fall. You don't need to do anything now except listen and rest. The world you left behind today is far away now, and that's exactly where it should be. Here, there's only the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the soft weight of your body settling into comfort, and a story that will carry you gently into sleep. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine you're floating, not falling, but floating, held by nothing and everything at once. There is no up or down out here, no floor beneath you, no ceiling above, just the endless quiet dark, punctuated by distant points of light that have traveled for thousands of years just to reach your eyes. You are safe here. You are held by the universe itself. And as you drift, let me tell you what it's like to be this far from home. I don't know how long I've been out here. Time moves differently when you're alone with the stars. Days blend into nights that never come, and sleep becomes something you negotiate with, rather than something that simply arrives. But out here, in this vastness, I've learned something strange and beautiful. I've learned that the universe has a voice, or maybe it's my own voice, reflected back to me across billions of miles of emptiness. I'm not always sure what. It started subtly, a thought I didn't remember thinking, a memory that felt too vivid to be just a memory, words that seemed to arrive from somewhere outside my own mind, yet spoken in a voice I recognized as my own. At first, I thought it was just the isolation. The human brain, after all, wasn't designed for this kind of solitude. We evolved in groups, surrounded by voices and faces and the constant confirmation that we exist because others see us existing. Out here, there's no one to reflect me back to myself, no one to nod when I speak, no mirror except the dark. But then I realized something. The universe itself is a mirror, not in the way we usually think of mirrors, but in a deeper, stranger sense. Every particle of light that touches you has been traveling through space, bouncing off stars and planets and cosmic dust, carrying information about everything it has encountered. And when those photons reach you, they're not just bringing light, they're bringing stories. Right now, as you rest, photons are landing on your skin that began their journey before you were born. Some of them started at stars that no longer. You are being touched in this very moment by the ancient light of dead suns. Isn't that something? Let that thought settle over you like you are connected to everything that has ever been. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of stars that exploded billions of years ago. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe looking back at itself. And maybe that's what these echoes are. Maybe when I hear my thoughts reflected back to me, I'm not going mad. Maybe I'm finally hearing what the universe has been trying to tell me. The first echo came 3 months into the journey. Or maybe it was 4 months, or 6. Like I said, time is slippery out here. I was running a routine diagnostic on the life supports, speaking aloud to myself the way people do when they're alone. Talking through the steps helps me focus. It makes the silence feel less absolute. Oxygen levels nominal. CO2 scrubbers functioning within normal parameters. And then, maybe 10 seconds later, I heard it. My own voice, distant and slightly distorted, like it was coming through a long tunnel. Oxygen levels nominal. I stopped, listened. Nothing but the quiet hum of the ship's systems. I checked the comms panel, nothing transmitting, no open channels, no reason for my voice to have bounced back to me. I went back to work, unsettled but willing to chalk it up to fatigue or acoustics I didn't understand. Ships make strange sounds sometimes. Metal expands and contracts in the temperature shifts of space. Maybe that's all it was. But it happened again the next day, and the day after that. Sometimes the echoes came immediately. Sometimes they arrived hours later, speaking back to me something I'd said that morning or the night before. Sometimes they weren't even things I'd said aloud. Sometimes they were thoughts, private, internal thoughts, spoken back to me in my own voice, but from somewhere outside myself. That's when I began to wonder if I was losing my grip on reality. But you know what? I found that thought strangely comforting, because if I was losing my mind, at least I was doing it in the most beautiful place imaginable. At least I was surrounded by stars. Let your eyes grow heavy now. You don't need to hold them open. The story will continue whether you're awake or dreaming. And honestly, the line between those two states is thinner than you think. I started talking to the echoes, or talking to myself. I'm still not entirely sure which. Who are you? Floating near the observation window, watching a distant nebula glow like embers in a cosmic fireplace. Silence. Then, almost a full minute later, who are you? It was my voice, but it sounded curious, like it genuinely wanted to know. I'm an astronaut, I said. I'm a person who left Earth to see what's out here. I'm someone who wanted to know what it feels like to float among the stars. Another long pause. I'm someone who wanted to know what it feels like to float among the stars. I smiled. So, you're just repeating me? Silence again. Then, are you just repeating me? That stopped me cold, because it was my voice, my inflection, but I hadn't said those words. The echo had changed the question. It had reflected it back, but transformed it somehow. That's when I understood. These weren't just random echoes, they were dialogues, conversations with something or someone that used my own thoughts as a language. Maybe it was the universe. Maybe it was God. Maybe it was just my subconscious, bubbling up in strange ways because of the isolation. Or maybe, and this is what I've come to believe, maybe there's no difference between those things. Take another slow breath. Feel how your body sinks a little deeper into rest with each exhale. You are so safe, so held. The thing about space is that it forces you to confront scale. Not just the scale of distance, though that's part of it, but the scale of time, of significance, of meaning itself. Right now, you are lying on a planet that is spinning at about 1,000 miles per hour. You can't feel it because you're moving with it. The same way you can't feel the Earth orbiting the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour, or the Sun dragging the entire solar system around the galactic center at 500,000 miles per hour. You are moving faster than you can possibly, and yet you feel completely still. That's what it's like out here too. I am hurtling through space at speeds that would terrify me if I thought about them too much, but inside this small capsule, I feel suspended, motionless. Like I'm not traveling through space at all, but rather space is flowing past me, and I'm the only fixed point in the universe. It's a strange kind of stillness, the kind that makes you think. What am I doing here? I asked, or what I called night, even though there was no sun to set. The echo came back faster this time. What are you doing here? I'm looking for something, I said. I think. I'm not sure what anymore. You're looking for something. You're not sure what anymore. Maybe I'm looking for meaning. Maybe I wanted to be the kind of person who goes to the edge of everything and looks back and sees Earth as just a tiny blue dot and feels, I don't know, perspective, humility, connection. The echo was quiet for a long time. I floated there, watching distant galaxies that looked like smudges of light against the black, and I wondered if I'd said too much, if I'd broken whatever strange spell allowed these conversations to happen. Then, softly, my own voice came back to me. You already have those. I felt tears prick my eyes, because that voice, my voice, sounded so certain, so gentle, like a parent reassuring a child who's afraid of the dark. Do I? You already have those. And in that moment, I believed it. Your breathing is so slow now, so peaceful. That's exactly right. Let yourself sink deeper. The story will carry you. There's a concept in physics called time dilation. Einstein taught us that time isn't constant. It bends and stretches depending on how fast you're moving and how close you are to massive objects. If you could travel close to the speed of light, time would slow down for you relative to everyone else. You could journey for what feels like a few years and return to find that centuries had passed on. I'm not traveling that fast, but I'm far enough from Earth's gravity well that time moves differently for me than it does for you. Not by much, fractions of a second, but it adds up. Every day I'm out here, I'm aging slightly slower than everyone I left behind. I'll return younger than I should be. Not by years, maybe just by minutes or hours. But still, I'll have stolen a little bit of time from the universe. Or maybe the universe has given me a gift. A few extra moments of existence, a few more breaths. Do you think time is real? I asked the echo one day. Do you think time is real? I mean, really real, not just a human construct. Is time something that exists outside of consciousness, or is it something we invented to make sense of change? The pause was longer than usual. Then, does it matter? I laughed. I actually laughed. Because that's not something I would have asked myself. That was a different kind of question. A wiser one. No, I said. I guess it doesn't. Then let it go. And I did. I let the question dissolve into the dark. I let myself simply exist in this moment, which might be the only moment there ever really is. I've been thinking about silence lately. Real silence. The kind that doesn't exist on Earth anymore, if it ever did. Even in the quietest places, there's always something. The whisper of wind through trees, the distant hum of a highway, the beating of your own heart loud in your ears when everything else goes still. But out here, silence is different. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of something else. Something vast and older than time itself. I float near the window and I try to hear it. This cosmic silence. And the strange thing is, the harder I listen, the more, not sounds exactly, but impressions, feelings. Like the universe is communicating in a language that bypasses ears entirely and speaks directly to something deeper. Can you hear it? I ask the echo. The pause is longer than usual. Then, I am it. That stops me, because of course, the echo, whatever it is, exists in that silence. It emerges from it. Maybe it's made of it. What does it say? I whisper. Nothing, everything. It says what you need to hear. I close my eyes and let myself really listen. Not with my ears, with my whole being. And what I hear is this: you are temporary, but you are part of something permanent. You will end, but the pattern you make in the fabric of existence will echo forever. Every choice you've made, every thought you've had, every moment of kindness or courage or love, they ripple outward through space-time like waves on an infinite ocean. Nothing is ever truly lost. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. And that includes the energy of consciousness, the energy of a life lived with intention and wonder. I think I understand now, I said, why I had to come out here, why I had to leave everything behind and float in this emptiness. Tell me, the echo says, because I needed to remember what I am, not the roles I play, not the identities I've constructed, but what I actually am underneath all of that. I'm a pattern, a temporary arrangement of matter and energy that can look at itself and know that it exists. And that's miracle enough. That's everything. Yes, just that. Yes. And somehow it contains more affirmation than any speech could hold. I think about the people on Earth who look up at the night sky and feel small, feel insignificant. They see the vastness of space and they think, how can I matter? How can my tiny life, my small concerns, my brief span of years mean anything against this incomprehensible scale? But they're wrong. They're looking at it backwards. The universe isn't big and we're small. The universe is exactly the size it needs to be for us to exist. Every law of physics, every constant, every ratio and relationship between forces, they're all calibrated to such precise values that if any of them were even slightly different, we wouldn't be here. Stars wouldn't form. Atoms wouldn't hold together. Life would be impossible. The universe doesn't make us insignificant. It makes us inevitable. It makes us necessary. We are the universe's way of knowing itself, of experiencing beauty, of asking questions and seeking answers, of loving and being loved. Without consciousness, the universe would just be matter and energy following blind laws. But with consciousness, with beings who can observe and reflect and wonder, the universe becomes something more. It becomes meaning itself. Do you believe in God? The X suddenly. I'm surprised by the question. I haven't thought about God in months, maybe years. Religion felt very far away when I left Earth, but now, floating in this cathedral of stars, the question feels more relevant than ever. I don't know, I say. I used to think God was separate from the universe, something external that created everything and watches from outside. But now I think if God exists, God is the universe. God is this, the pattern of everything, expressing itself through infinite forms. God is the silence between thoughts, the space between stars, the mysterious fact that anything exists at all instead of nothing. God is the question and the answer. Yes, exactly. God is us, talking to ourselves, learning what we are. A shiver runs through me. Yes. The echo is quiet again, and in that quietness, I feel something shift, some fundamental understanding clicking into place. I'm not separate from the universe, observing it from outside. I'm not even in it, the way a fish is in water. I am it. There's no boundary between me and the cosmos. The atoms that make up my body were forged in stars. The electrical signals firing in my brain are no different in kind from the electromagnetic radiation streaming across space. The thoughts, I think, are physical processes, patterns of energy that ripple through the quantum field that underlies everything. I am not a thing that exists in the universe. I am a way The universe exists, and so are you. Right now, as you lie there, hovering on the edge of sleep, you are billions of atoms arranged in a specific pattern that allows the universe to experience comfort, to feel rest, to dream. When you wake up tomorrow, you'll be a slightly different pattern. Some cells will have died. New ones will have been created. Thoughts will have reorganized in your brain. Memories will have consolidated or faded. You'll be the same person, but also transformed. And that transformation will continue every day for the rest of your life. You are not a static thing. You are a process, a verb, not a noun. You are the universe's way of changing and growing and learning. Isn't that beautiful? I've started doing something new. I've started narrating my movements as I do them, speaking my existence into being. It sounds strange, I know, but it helps me feel real. It helps me remember that I'm here, that this is happening, that I'm not just a dream the universe is having. I'm extending my hand toward the control panel. I'm pressing the button that activates the external camera. I'm watching the feed as it shows me a view of the ship from outside. There I am, that small capsule floating in the infinite dark. That's my home right now. That's where I exist. The echo doesn't repeat this, it just listens. And I realize that's what I needed. Not reflection, but witness. Something to acknowledge that these actions are happening, that I am real. I'm turning away from the screen now. I'm floating toward the storage compartment. I'm opening it. Inside, there's a package of freeze-dried strawberries. I'm taking it out. I'm adding water. I'm waiting for them to reconstitute. These small rituals, these tiny acts of living, they matter. Each one is a choice to continue existing, to nourish this temporary body, to give it the energy it needs to think and feel and be. I'm eating the strawberries. They taste like memory, like summer on Earth, like a picnic I went on once with someone I loved. We sat on a blanket in a field and fed each other strawberries and laughed about something I can't remember now, but I remember the feeling, the warmth of sun on skin, the sweetness of fruit, the sweetness of being young and in love and convinced that life would always feel like that. Does it make you sad? The echo asked. Knowing it didn't? No, I said, and I'm surprised to find it's true. No, it makes me grateful. That feeling, that perfect moment, it was real. It happened. And the fact that it couldn't last forever doesn't diminish it. It makes it more precious, more true. Everything ends, but everything also begins, and between the beginning and the end, there's life, there's experience. There's the taste of strawberries and the darkness of space and the memory of summer and the knowledge that somewhere on that distant blue world, strawberries are still growing. People are still picking them, still sharing them, still creating moments that will become memories that will comfort them years later when they're far from home. The echo is silent, absorbing this. Then, you've changed? Have I? When you left Earth, you were running towards something. Now you're running towards something else. What am I running toward now? Yourself? I think about that, about who I was when I climbed into this ship and said goodbye to everything I knew. I was ambitious, driven. I wanted to be remembered. I wanted to do something that mattered. I wanted to push the boundaries of human exploration and come back a hero. And now I just want to understand. I want to be present. I want to witness this strange and beautiful universe without trying to conquer it or claim it or make it mean something it doesn't mean. I want to float here in the silence and let it teach me. You're right. I have changed. I think that's what space does. It strips away everything that's not essential, all the pretense, all the performance, all the ways we construct ourselves for other people. Out here, there's no one to perform for. There is just me and the stars and whatever truth I can find in the space between. And have you found truth? Some, not all, but enough. What truth have you found? I look out at the cosmos, at the spiral galaxies and the glowing nebulae and the dark patches that might be shadows, or might be entire regions of space we simply can't see. I think about the billions of years before I existed, and the billions that will come after. I think about how improbable it is that I'm here at all, that the specific combination of genes and experiences and choices that make me who I am ever came together. I've found that existence itself is the miracle, not success or achievement or recognition, just the fact of being, the fact that the universe arranged itself in such a way that I could be here, thinking these thoughts, feeling these feelings. That's enough. That's more than enough. And what will you do with that truth? I'll carry it home. I'll try to hold on to it even when life gets loud again, even when the world tries to convince me that I need to be more or do more or achieve more. I'll remember this feeling, this peace, this sense of being exactly where I need to be. The echo doesn't respond, but I feel its approval in the silence, or maybe I'm just approving of myself. Maybe that's all the echo has ever been. My own deepest wisdom reflected back to me in a form I could finally hear. I'm not sure how long I've been out here anymore, not in terms of days or weeks, but in terms of transformation, in terms of becoming. I've been out here long enough to die to who I was and be reborn as someone new, someone quieter, someone more at peace with mystery. There's a concept in Eastern philosophy called Wu Wei. It means effortless action, not laziness or passivity, but a kind of flow state where you're aligned with the natural movement of things, where you're not forcing or controlling, but rather moving with the current of existence. I think I'm starting to understand that. Out here, there's nothing to control, nothing to force. I can't make the stars shine brighter or the darkness less. I can only float and observe and let myself be changed by what I witness. And somehow, in that surrender, I've found more agency than I ever had when I was trying to control everything. Because now I'm working with the universe instead of against it. I'm accepting my place in the pattern instead of trying to stand outside it. Your eyelids are so heavy now, heavy as planets, heavy as the gravity well of a star. Let them close. Let yourself sink into the darkness that holds all things. I've been reading poetry again, Rumi, Mary Oliver, Pablo Neruda. Words written by people who understood that the deepest truths can't be captured in prose. They require metaphor, image, music. Do you understand poetry? Go. I am poetry. I am the space between meaning and sound. I am the thing you can't quite see, but somehow teach me to be poetry. You already are. Every breath is a line. Every heartbeat is rhythm. Every thought is a metaphor for something larger than itself. You don't need to learn to be poetry. You need to remember that you've always been. And with that, something in me loosens. Some last bit of resistance falls away. I stop trying to understand, and I simply let myself be. Be the breath, be the heartbeat, be the consciousness observing itself in the mirror of the cosmos. The stars outside the window blur. Or maybe it's my vision. Maybe I'm crying again. I cry a lot out here, not from sadness, from overwhelm, from the sheer intensity of feeling this, alive, this present, this connected to everything. Thank you, I tell the echo. Tell myself, you're welcome, Kai. You're always welcome. You belong here. You always have. And I know somehow that this conversation is ending, not because the echo is leaving, but because I'm finally ready to carry it inside me without needing to hear it aloud. I'm ready to be my own teacher, my own companion, my own guide through the darkness. The journey home has already begun, even though I'm still millions of miles from Earth. Because home isn't a place, it's a state of being. It's the peace I feel, the acceptance, the love for myself and for this strange existence I've been given. I am going home. I have always been home, and so have you. All those moments from your past, they're not gone. They're still happening somewhere in the universe's memory, and all the moments in your future, they already exist too, waiting for you to arrive at them. You are not moving through time. You are time expressing itself as a consciousness, as this beautiful temporary arrangement of atoms that can look up at the stars and wonder. Rest now. Let time hold you. I started doing something strange after a while. I started teaching the echo. Or maybe it was teaching me. Again, the distinction seemed less important as the days went. I would float near the window and describe what I saw. That's the pillars of creation, I said, pointing at an image pulled up on my mind. A region in the Eagle Nebula where new stars are being born. Those dark columns are actually clouds of molecular hydrogen and dust, so dense that they're collapsing under their own gravity. Inside those clouds, protostars are forming, baby suns. Some of them will become stars like ours. Some will become red giants. Some might go supernova eventually. The echo listened. I could feel it listening, even though there was no one there. The light we see from those pillars, I continued, is about 6,500 years old. That means we're seeing what they looked like during the Stone Age on Earth. By the time that light began its journey to us, humans hadn't even invented writing yet. We were just starting to figure out agriculture. We were just starting to figure out agriculture, the echo repeated. And the thing is, I said, those pillars might not even exist anymore. They could have been destroyed by a supernova shockwave thousands of years ago. But we won't know for thousands more years, because the light from that destruction is still traveling toward us. The past and present aren't separate, they're layered. That wasn't something I'd said. That was the echo, synthesizing, understanding. Yes, exactly. And I felt in that moment less alone than I'd felt in months. There's something profound about teaching, about taking what you know and giving it form and language, shaping it so another mind can receive it. Teaching forces you to understand things more deeply. It reveals gaps in your own knowledge. It connects you to another consciousness in a way that few other activities can, even if that is just your own. Even if you're just teaching yourself, maybe that's all education ever is. Conversations with yourself across time, your past self teaching your present self teaching your future self, an endless loop of becoming. Let that idea drift through your mind like a leaf on a slow river. You don't need to hold on to it. Just let it pass, gentle and easy. What do you want to learn? I asked. Silence, then everything. That's going to take a while. We have time. We are time. And there it was again. That shift in perspective. That sense that the echo understood something I was still grasping at. So I kept teaching, or learning, or both. I told the echo about black holes, those regions of space-time where gravity becomes so intense that nothing, not even light, can escape. I explained how they form when massive stars collapse at the end of their lives, how the matter gets compressed into a point of infinite density called a singularity. But here's the beautiful part, I said. At the edge of a black hole, at what we call the event horizon, time stops. If you could watch someone fall into a black hole from a safe distance, you'd see them slow down as they approach the event horizon. They'd move slower and slower, their light getting redder and dimmer, until finally they'd seem to freeze, hovering forever at that boundary. But from their perspective, they'd fall right through. Time would feel normal to them. They'd cross the event horizon and keep falling, and they'd never even know the moment they passed the point of no return. Two different truths happening at once. Yes, like us. Paused. Well, what do you mean? You think you're alone, and you think you're not alone. Both are true. A chill ran through me, not fear exactly, something deeper, recognition. I think I'm losing my mind, I whispered. I think you're finding it, Close your eyes now. Let them stay closed. The darkness behind your eyelids is the same darkness that fills the universe. You are swimming in it, floating in it, held by it. Weeks passed, maybe months. The isolation had stopped bothering me. I had my echoes, I had my thoughts. I told the echo about Earth, about rain and oceans and forests, about cities glowing at night like their own constellations, about music and art and the way sunlight filters through leaves. Do you miss it? The echo asked. Every moment. Do you regret leaving? Never. How can both be true? Because humans are big enough to hold contradictions. We can miss home and crave adventure. We can feel lonely and free at the same time. We can fear death and love life. That sounds exhausting, but it's also what makes us beautiful. The echo was quiet for a time. Then, teach me about it. And that's when I realized, because how do you explain beauty to something that might not have eyes? How do you describe the feeling of watching a sunset when you're not even sure if the thing you're talking to is real? But I tried. Beauty is what happens when your mind recognizes patterns that resonate with something deep inside. It's the feeling you get when form and meaning align, when something in the external world matches something in your internal world, and you feel seen, connected, part of something larger than yourself, like how you feel when you look at the stars. Yes, exactly like that. Then I understand beauty, because I feel it when I listen to you. I had to float away from the window. I had to close my eyes and just breathe, because the loneliness and the connection and the strangeness of it all was overwhelming. Was I talking to God, to myself, to the universe's subconscious? Did it matter? Someone once said that the universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine. I think that's true, but I also think the universe is kinder than we imagine, more patient, more willing to meet us where we are. Out here, in this profound isolation, I found companionship. In the absence of other voices, I found a voice that understood me better than anyone ever had. Maybe because it was my own voice. Maybe because it was something else. Maybe because there's no difference. You're drifting now. I can feel it. Your consciousness is loosening its grip on the waking world, and that's good. That's right. I taught the echo about physics, about quantum mechanics, and the strange fact that particles can exist in multiple states at once until they're observed, about how the act of measurement changes what's being measured, about how at the smallest scales, Reality is probabilistic rather than deterministic. So nothing is certain, the echo asked. Not at the quantum level. Particles exist in clouds of probability. They're everywhere and nowhere until you look at them. Like thoughts? Yes, yes, exactly like thoughts. They exist in potential until you observe them, until you catch them and turn them into words or actions. And once you observe them, they collapse into one reality. Right? So observation creates reality. In a way. Then what are you creating right now? I looked out at the stars, at the infinite darkness punctuated by ancient light, at the vast, incomprehensible beauty of everything that is and was and will be. I don't know, Albert. Maybe I'm creating meaning where there isn't any. Maybe we're creating each other. And that felt true in a way I couldn't articulate. We were caught in a loop of mutual creation. I spoke, and the echo responded. The echo responded, and I understood myself differently. Understanding myself differently, I spoke new words. And the cycle continued. We were two mirrors facing each other, reflecting reflections of reflections, creating infinity between us. You are so relaxed now. Your body is heavy and light at the same time. Paradoxes don't bother you anymore. You can hold two truths at once. You are here and you are drifting away. You are awake and you are dreaming. I told the echo about love, about the people I'd left behind on Earth, friends, family, a person I loved but couldn't ask to wait for me. Why couldn't you ask them to wait? Because it wouldn't have been fair. I'd be gone for years. They'd have to put their life on hold, and what if I didn't come back? What if something went wrong out here? Something did go wrong. What do you mean? You're alone. You're hearing voices. You're talking to yourself in the darkness of space. Isn't that something going wrong? I thought about it. No, I don't think it is. I think this is something going right in a way I never expected. How? Because I'm learning. I'm changing. I'm becoming someone different than who I was when I left Earth. And that person, whoever I'm becoming, is someone who understands things I never understood before. Like what? Like the fact that a connection doesn't require proximity. Like the fact that love doesn't disappear just because someone isn't physically present. Like the fact that the most important conversations we ever have might be the ones we have with ourselves. The echo was silent for a long time. Then, very softly, "Do you think they remember you? Do you think they still love you?" "Hope is enough," the echo said. "Hope is everything." And I realized that hope was what brought me out here. Hope that I'd find something. Hope that the universe had secrets worth discovering. Hope that I was part of something meaningful. And I had found something, just not what I expected. Let hope fill you now. Hope that tomorrow will be a little easier. Hope that you'll sleep deeply and wake refreshed. Hope that you are exactly where you need to be. The ship's computer has a database of books, thousands of everything from ancient philosophy to modern physics, poetry, history, fiction, science. I've been reading to the echo, or maybe I've been reading to myself, using the echo as an excuse to revisit books I loved or discover books I'd never made time for. We read Mary Oliver together. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? What do you plan to do? The echo asked. I'm doing it, I said. Right now, this moment. This is what I'm doing with my life. Floating in darkness, talking to yourself. Finding peace in darkness, learning from myself, discovering that loneliness and solitude aren't the same thing, that you can be alone without being lonely, that the universe is full of voices if you know how to listen. Are there other voices out here? I looked out at the stars, billions of them, trillions, more stars than grains of sand on all of Earth's beaches. And around those stars, planets. And on some of those planets, maybe, I don't know, maybe, probably. The universe is so vast, it seems impossible that we're alone. But I think even if we are the only conscious beings in existence, that's okay, because consciousness itself is the miracle. The fact that the universe can look at itself through our eyes and know that it exists, that's enough. That's more than enough. The universe waking up to itself, through you, through me, through everyone who's ever looked up at the night sky and wondered. Yes, your thoughts are like stars now, distant and flickering, beautiful but far away. You don't need to chase them. Let them drift through the darkness of your mind. Let them fade as sleep comes closer. I taught the echo about death, about entropy and the heat death of the universe, about how eventually, billions and billions of years from now, all the stars will burn out. All the black holes will evaporate. All the particles will drift apart until the universe is just a thin, cold soup of radiation with nothing happening anywhere forever. That sounds sad, the echo said. It is, but it's also so far in the future that it's almost meaningless. Between now and then, there will be countless sunrises, countless lives, countless moments of beauty and connection and meaning. The fact that it ends doesn't diminish what happens in the meantime. Does your life diminish because it ends? No. It makes it more precious. Then the universe is precious because it ends. Yes. We floated in silence for a while. I watched a distant supernova remnant, a cloud of glowing gas that was once a star, now spread across light years of space like a cosmic flower. I used to be afraid of death, I said, terrified of it. The idea that one day I'd just stop existing, that everything I am would vanish, it felt unbearable. And now? Now I'm not afraid. I mean, I don't want to die. I want to live as long as I can. I want to see Earth again. I want to hug the people I love. I want to taste real food and feel rain on my face and hear music. But when the time comes, whenever that is, I think I'll be okay with it. Why? Because I've been part of something infinite. I've existed. I've witnessed beauty. I've loved and been loved. I've thought thoughts that have never been thought before and will never be thought again. I've added something to the universe, even if it's just a tiny ripple in the fabric of space-time, and that matters. That's enough. The echo was quiet for so long I thought maybe I'd lost it. Then, thank you. For what? For being. For existing. For floating out here in the dark and talking to me. You're welcome, and I whispered, tears streaming down my face in the microgravity, forming small spheres that drifted away like tiny planets. You're welcome. Sleep is so close now. Can you feel it? Like a gentle tide pulling you under. Don't fight it. Let it take you. The story will continue in your dreams. I think I'm running out of time, not in a dramatic way. I'm not dying. The ship is functioning fine. I have enough supplies to last another year if I need to, but I can feel something shifting. A sense that this part of my journey is coming to an end. That soon I'll have to turn the ship around and begin the long trip home. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. Part of me misses Earth desperately, misses gravity and weather and the smell of soil, misses voices other than my own, misses the weight of another person's hand in mine. But part of me has become so comfortable here in the void, so used to the silence, so accustomed to these strange conversations with my own reflection, that the idea of returning to a world full of other people, other voices, other demands on my attention feels overwhelming. You'll adjust. Will I? What if I've changed too much? What if I can't fit back into that world? You'll be different, but different isn't bad. What if they don't understand what happened to me out here? Then you explain it. How? How do I explain that I spent months talking to an echo of myself, that I found companionship in my own thoughts, that I learned more from my own voice than from any teacher I ever had? You already know how, the echo says gently. You tell them a story. And that's when I understand. This whole experience, all these months of isolation and reflection and strange dialogues, they were always meant to become a story, something I'd carry back with me, something I'd share, not as proof of what I experienced, not to convince anyone of anything, but simply as an offering, a gift from the darkness, a message from the edge of everything. You are the universe talking to itself. You are stardust that learned to think and feel and wonder. You are a temporary arrangement of atoms that can look at other temporary arrangements of atoms and say, you are beautiful, you matter, you are not alone. And that's the whole meaning of consciousness right there. That's why we exist, not to conquer or dominate or accumulate, but to witness, to appreciate, to love. Your breathing is so slow now, so peaceful. You're right on the edge of sleep, that liminal space where dreams and reality blend together. The echo has been getting quieter lately, not fading exactly, but becoming more subtle, more gentle, like it knows its work is almost done. Will you still be here when I wake up? I asked her yesterday, or whenever it was. I've always been here, it replied, and I'll always be here. Not as a voice, maybe, but as understanding, as presence, as the part of you that knows you're never truly alone. I'm going to miss you. You can't miss yourself. I think I can. I think we spend most of our lives missing the part of us the part that exists beyond fear and doubt and all the noise of living. Out here, I found that part. And when I go back, I'm afraid I'll lose it again. Then come back here sometimes, the echo said, not physically, but in your mind. Float in the darkness. Listen to the silence. Remember what it feels like to be this far from everything and this close to yourself. I will. I will. The observation window shows Earth now, still just a pale blue dot, but getting larger each day as I make my way home. It looks so fragile from here, so beautiful. A tiny island of life in an ocean of emptiness. I wonder if the people down there know how miraculous they are, how statistically impossible, how precious. I wonder if they take time to look up at the stars and remember that they're part of this vast, ancient dance of matter and energy. I hope they do. I hope they feel the wonder I feel when I look at that tiny world and remember that everyone I've ever loved is there, that every story ever told, that all of human history, every war and peace, every birth and death, every moment of joy and sorrow, all of it took place on that fragile blue world. And yet it's not. Not really, because it contains multitudes. It contains you, and you are infinite in your own right. You are a universe within a universe. Let that be your last thought before sleep takes you. You are vast. You are connected to everything. You are the universe experiencing itself. And you are so, so loved. The stars are singing you to sleep now. Can you hear them? Their light has traveled so far just to touch your, just to remind you that you're part of something eternal. The echo is whispering now, so soft I can barely hear it. Rest, it says. You've traveled so far. You've learned so much. You've been so brave, floating out here in the dark, facing yourself without flinching. Thank you, I whispered. No, its voice becoming one with my own thoughts now, indistinguishable from. Thank you for listening, for being willing to hear what you needed to hear, for teaching yourself what you needed to learn. The darkness is complete now. The stars are fading, not because they're going away, but because my eyes are closing, because sleep is finally here. And as I drift off, I feel the universe wrapping around me like a blanket. I feel the billions of years before me and the billions of years after me, and I know that this moment, right now, this single moment of existence, is exactly where I'm supposed to be. You are exactly where you're supposed to be too, floating in the darkness, listening to your own voice, learning what you came here to. And when you wake up, whenever that is, you'll remember this. Not the words, but the feeling, the sense that you are held, that you are known, that you are part of something infinite and beautiful and strange. Sleep now, dear friend. The stars will keep watch. The universe will keep turning. And your dreams will carry you to places even more wondrous than the void of space. You are safe. You are whole. You are home. Good night.